In this video, I would like to do a reading with grammatical analysis and brief commentary of Genesis 1:26 and following. We're in the sixth day of creation. The Hebrew reads, Vayomer Elohim na'aseh Adam b'tzalmenu kidmutenu v'yirdu bidgat hayam uva'of ha'shamayim ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרמז הרומז על הארץ. And God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, over the domesticated beasts, and over all the earth, and over all that creep, all the creeping things that creep upon the earth. We have vocabulary-wise Adam meaning man, Tselem meaning image, Demut meaning likeness, and Radah meaning to have dominion, a verb. So let's look at the grammar a bit. Vayomer Elohim na'aseh, and God said, let us make. Notice here, Vayomer is the cow imperfect third masculine singular from the root amad with a vav hafek or a vav consecutive. Let us make. Na'aseh. By the way, na'aseh is from asa. We're looking at a cow imperfect first person plural from asa. And notice it is a lamed ayin verb here. So God said, let us make. And it's a adjective idea. And the let us here, some feel it's a plural of majesty, as though God has a court and he's addressing and the angels are listening to him. Let us make man. But another idea, other than just a plural of majesty, that I see a very valid idea in light of the New Testament fulfillment in the Trinity, is that we're looking at the Trinity. The plural of majesty here, I think, allows for the reality of the idea and truth of the Trinity revealed progressively through progressive revelation in Holy Scripture. And then it goes on, Bitsalmenu Kidmutenu, according to our image. Notice here, Selim is like an image or a shadow, and Demut is likeness. It is interesting when we look at this thought here. The early literature often refers to Tselmu as the imagery of a king, a statue of a king. And I think here what we're seeing in a very interesting way is that human beings are created in the shadow or image, as it were, of God. We are not God. We are not divine, but we represent him on earth. Animals do not, because only humans are able to speak. Animals, dogs can bark, but they can't really speak. The Targum, when it says that God breathed into man the breath of life, and man became, a speaking being, so that man, unlike mankind, unlike animals, are able to speak. And that is what sets us aside as distinct from the animal world. And therefore, we are to be God's viceroy, to be his representatives here upon the earth. I think the Torah here, or the text is saying. So as we go on, notice the text continues, Vayirdu bidgat hayam uva of hashemayim. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens. We're looking at man's dominion, so to speak, over the animal creation. Uvaho haremes haromes al ha'aretz. And every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. By the way, romes here is a cow participle masculine singular from ramas, to creep. So what the text, I think, is looking at here, and I would translate it, and God said, let us make man according to our image, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the domesticated beasts, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. Notice the human dignity of both man and woman, created man and woman. They are to rule over the earth. As I said, they are God's viceroy. In Enuma Elish, the Babylonian account of creation, man is simply an afterthought. Humans are to do the work that the gods don't want to do. They're to put out the garbage and do the work that the gods do not want to do. So they are here simply in Akkadian Enuma Elish, just an afterthought. And they're not really like what we have here in Genesis. At best, they are simply to represent and serve the gods. Not to represent, but to serve the gods. But here, humankind represents the pinnacle of God's creation. We as humans, he is saying, are God's representatives. We are to rule the earth in God's benevolent rule, representing him and yet being under him. An interesting use of this great text, by the way, is found in Psalm 8, which is applied to Adam or mankind. God put all things under the feet of humankind. And then in Psalm 8, as we see it in Hebrews 2, it has its final fulfillment in Jesus Christ, who was made a little lower than the angels on account of the suffering of death. And he has become the ultimate Adam, subjugating all things under his feet, including death, which the first Adam brought because of the original fall. So we need to, I think, connect this text with Psalm 8 in that humankind is the epitome of God's creation. But when it's applied in the New Testament, it's applied to Christ. I'm speaking of Psalm 8 as the second Adam, who was made a little lower than the angels in the incarnation on account of the suffering of death, because first Adam brought that as a result of the fall. We then move on in verse 27, Vayivra Elohim et ha'adam b'tselmo b'tselem Elohim bara oto. Zachar u'nekeva bara otam. God created Adam in his image, in his likeness. God created him male and female. He created them. Vayivra is a cow imperfect third masculine singular from the root bara. And God created man in his image. And notice male and female. He created them. What we see here is God creating both male and female, showing the equality of male and female created in the image of God. Then as we move to verse 28, the text reads, Vayavarik otam Elohim, vayomer lahem, Elohim peru uravu umil'u et ha'aretz vechibshua uredu bidgat hayam uba'of hashemayim ubechol haya haromeset al ha'aretz. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heaven, over every wild animal uh, that creeps upon the earth. Notice as we look at, or I could just say every living creature that creeps upon the earth. As we look at this text, we have, first of all, Vayavarek is a PL imperfect third masculine singular from Barak with a Vav consecutive. And God blessed them and said to them, Peru, Urabu, Umil'u et ha'aretz. He said unto them, be fruitful. Excuse me here. He said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Here we have a number of imperatives. By the way, Rabu is from Rabah, a Lamed Hey verb, and Para, Peru is from Para. These are all Lamed Hey verbs. And then Mil'u is from Malay. We have here imperatives, cow imperative plural, in Peru, Uravu, Mil'u. So be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth, looking at productivity that God has created in from original creation, vechivshua, and subdue it. Notice here the dignity of man again, subduing the earth. It should be, though, in a good way, from kavash, and here in hivshua we have um, an imperative that is a third feminine singular going with earth. Subdue it, or excuse me, subdue it. That's the ha is a third feminine singular suffix. The root is kavash, to subdue. So there is this subduing in a good sense, not in a negative sense. So again, mankind has quite a calling from creation over against the Enuma Elish account. And then he goes on to say, and have dominion over the Bidgat Hayam, over the fish of the sea, over Of Hashemayim, over the birds of the heavens. And so we're looking again and over every living creature that moves upon the earth. We're looking at man's the dignity of humankind. So one other thing I'd like to say, haromeset is from ramas. It's a participle, a cow participle, feminine singular from ramas. So, and over every living creature that creeps upon the earth. The great dignity of mankind is to have dominion over all the animal creation. You don't worship the animal creation, the text is saying, and to rule over it as God's representatives. Then we move on to verse 29. Vayomer Elohim, hine natati lachem et kol esev zorea zara asher al penei kol ha'aretz ve'et kol ha'etz asher bo peri etz zorea zara lachem yeyeh le'ochla. That is, and God said, behold, I have given to you every herb that is yielding seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree which in it is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for food. Again, notice here there are two types of seeds. The one seeding seed from itself, and the one whose fruit or whose seed is inside the fruit. So we would translate this, and God said, behold, I have given to you every herb yielding seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit of the tree is in it, yielding seed. So again, the focus upon the two types of seeds, like grass and then seed that's inside fruit. Zorea, by the way, is a cow participle masculine and singular from zara to seed. And then one other thing, let me just see here. Yeah, is just your cow imperfect third masculine singular from haya. In 130, it reads, Uvachol hayat ha'aretz, ulachol of hashemayim, ulachol romes al ha'aretz, asher bo nefesh haya et kol yerek esev le'ochla vayehi chen. That is, and every wild animal of the earth, and to every bird of the heaven, and to every creeping thing upon the earth, whose life is in it, every moving thing upon the earth, whose living soul is in it, and every green herb shall be for food. I'm going to stop here because my battery is running low, and I want to finish this then in another video, and that way I won't be suddenly cut off. Thank you.